Let's see. Can everyone hear me? It's working. Great. I think we're streaming. Right. We're moving over here to switch our scene. And there we are. I think I'll appear stage left. Hey everyone, it's Chris. Welcome to the AI Help Desk. It's been a rough week, we'll say. So, had a laptop die earlier. I was going to show you some other stuff today. But actually, in fact, we're going to the Apple Store later to get that fixed. Which is fine. I have some other stuff we could talk about. And actually some news that occurred Tuesday this week that is perfect for the stream. So, if you don't know, our city website recently launched a chatbot. So I thought maybe in the first, half hour or so here, to put it through its paces. You just gotta go over to browser open. City of Palo Alto. Sorry, not the old one. PaloAlto.gov. Here. By the way, this year for the AI Help Desk, we are live in the ReBoot Room. I have the door open. If you're seeing this and you want to stop by and ask questions about AI or other library stuff, happy to take your questions. I'll be here until about 3 p.m. And I need to move my water bottle to right over there. So, let's see. Let's get our screen share going here. Fortunately, because I'm on this side of the room and someone called out sick today, I'm not able to switch the scene to back here. But you can follow along. You can go to this website. There we go. Check it out. PaloAlto.gov. We just launched this beta city assistant called. Oh, I had a name. Charlene. See what they say here. I've not read this page yet, which describes what. This will be the spoken word portion of the stream. Just gonna read through it. So, cities beta testing City Assist, a new AI-powered tool for the community to quickly connect to city services, city infrastructure projects, programs, and more. By reading through webpage, calendar events, news article, content from Helpdesk, the new feature complements the city's website search engine and reinforces the city's commitment to constituent response. There's an SAT word. Constituent response. Implemented in collaboration with CityBot, a leader in AI-powered solutions for local government. Cities developed and piloting this new online service. Try City Assist today, and that's actually what we're going to do. At City Institute, assist your specific question in English or tests in the other 70 languages featured. Wow, that's really good. Does all those chat with up to city event meeting, inquire with city services and programs, out city services and programs. Most importantly, share user experience via the online forum below the city, improving city assist responsible. Love this note right here. Please do not report emergencies through city assist. Please call 911 in an emergency or for any other service needs, contact the non-emergency at 650-329-2. Very important. Okay, what else? 311 apps, city hall lobby services. So the short version of this is that this thing to know is that this chatbot is scraping the city website. So if you're asking questions that are not on our website, I'll feature some of those right now, they're not going to show up in this chatbot. Unfortunately. Let's try that. By the way, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Chris Markman, Leverage Services Manager here. I work in the Digital Services Division group here at Mitchell Park. So if you're familiar with the channel, you've probably seen our other streams. What else do we post here? Our AI storytelling workshop videos. Latest here, I think we have about 15 of them or so. Previously, we did some other like Minecraft streaming and game streaming, actually in this room. And this is also the ReBoot Room. So if you've never been here, over on the second floor near the sci-fi mystery section, meeting rooms, we have this new-ish event space. Let's see, this is where we mostly do like vintage media lab at this point. This is a service that lets you bring in your own movies, photos, videos. We have a suite of scanners and different digitization stuff here. For you to, work on your home archiving, your self-archiving. I actually made a joke the other day. It's like we invite all the freelance archivists here to do your stuff. So it doesn't actually have to be your own personal thing. We don't know. It could be anything. Anyway, I wanted to test out the chatbot here and see what we can. Oh, and by the way, actually, you know what? Oh no! Oh no! Did my battery? Oh, that's horrible. Okay, we're gonna redo our spiel because Chris just realized his microphone was off. Hopefully this is not... Okay, it's okay, we have a backup here. Hold up, hold up. This is why battery power is a problem. Okay, it looks like... Sorry for that. I see what happened here. That's too bad. Okay, my microphone just died in the middle of talking, but we have a second one. All right, well, I think you missed the spoken word portion of this. I was just reading through this website, talking about what is the chatbot and also introducing myself. So I'm Chris Markman, Digital Services Manager. Someone called out sick today, so I'm doing this solo right now. So expect some bugs along the way. It's fine though. We're gonna, we have actually 3 of these planned this month. So next Friday, the following Friday. If you're watching this later, if you want to send us an email, you can definitely send your questions through our website. Let me pull that up real quick. Over here, library.cpaloalto.org. You can actually, here's the fastest way to do it. Go to that help menu up there and say eHelp.
I am happy to answer your questions through phone call, email. You can also, let's see, over on the event page itself. If you want to send in your questions, I can answer them next week. Hold up. I can't assume that if you're watching this, you know this is on our website. So that's why I'm going through the pages here. Okay, here's the event listing. You can just email me right there. And we got 2 more lined up this month. Let's see. Oh, and I see someone did register next week. All right, we have limited seating here, okay? So please, if you want to talk in person, if you don't have a YouTube account or anything like that, if you want to talk person to person, we have seating, but we don't have like 1 million seats. So really, please register in advance so that I know you're on the way. Okay, let's go back to, and I just checked my window here, nothing there. Okay. Now, the first thing I did when I tested out this chatbot, as I said, how do I get a library card? Because that's probably our #1 question, or at least when I look at like Google Analytics, like that's usually one of the top things that people are searching for, is just like that information here. And let me zoom out a little bit. I think my, oh, and what prompted me to figure out that the microphone was not working is the fact that these also have, it's not only like a chat assistant, but it can also talk back to you. Let's see if this will.
In a library card in Palo Alto, CA, you need to follow these steps. 1. Eligibility. You must be a resident of California. This includes students who live on campus.
Oh, I just added that line like a couple months ago. So this is very recent information here. Let's see. What else did they do to... Oh, I see they already fixed one bug, actually. So earlier this week, when it was doing sort of like a list like this, a little bit of like weird like markdown thrown in there. Let's see what else here. I mean, this is all accurate. I actually know exactly which pages came from. So we're kind of, I'm cheating in a way because I searched for something that I already know there's a page for. Well, let's compare that with the search. Here, get a library. If I tried that same thing in the search bar, how do I get a library card? Well, that still shows it as the first result here, which is good, but also means that we need to try harder to trick this thing. So let me try something that I know it will not. This currently does not have any info about our events. So unless it's in the city's event calendar, it will not be there. Let's see. How can I learn about AI? What do you got? Now, if this chatbot's smart, it would just say, "Go, do you have a library card? You should go and ask it." Okay. Oh, actually, this is pretty good. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I was not expecting that. It mentions AI storytelling workshops, Helpdesk, library blogs, and posts. Let's see someone walking by here. LinkedIn learning courses, great. Ebooks, books. Wait a second. Wait a second. We've just learned something. We've learned some new information here. This is actually great. So, quick correction. I was saying before that it only searches city website, paloalto.gov. This just pulled up info from our website. which is like a separate library.citypolitics.org. Okay. I wonder. Okay, we can test this with something that I know is brand new, which, by the way, everyone should do. Head over to our website, and if you haven't done this already, we have a survey. We have a public survey with, let's see, 147 responses right now. It's pretty good. And what else? I wonder if it knows about the survey. Okay, here's a fun question. I lost a book from the library. How do I pay for it? I wonder if it knows anything about our like fees or. Well, actually, we're fine free, but we do. If you lose a book, it will. Oh wow! All right, well, it found it from our FAQ. It's pretty great. Although this went to just sort of the general FAQ section. I wonder. Okay, well, actually, that's great. I wonder if it knows about events. So the one that it had before, it was only searching. So it knew about this Helpdesk thing because that was on one of our pages, but doesn't know about an event that is not in. Let's see. Let's find something that is like way off in the distance and probably is not in a page in our separate sort of event calendar thing. All right, let's go way into the future. Okay, here's a good one. When is the next Silicon Valley Reads? A little bit more complicated. Let's see if we can do this. When is the next Silicon Valley Reads? Well, I'll give it some help. I'll say kickoff event. We're getting very specific here. Let's see what it can do. And while it's doing that, we're gonna get our water bottle over here. We're gonna walk towards our camera, get out of focus. And it well, okay. January 30th, 2025. So this is actually this is not the next one. This was, I think the problem is that it doesn't know the current date. And actually this is pretty common with a lot of language models right now, is they don't necessarily know. I wonder if it will answer this. What is today's date? Okay, it knows this date. Are there any is that event happening next year? Okay, can this thing remember the question that you asked it 3 questions ago? Because that's kind of I assume. Okay, it doesn't know. It does not remember the last question that I asked. Let's just double check this. What was the last question I asked? Oh. All right, I gotta close Teams in here. I thought I had done. Well, this actually brings me to the first thing I wanted to talk about. So, I recently was in Washington Post online, library search. Let's see if this pulls it up. Oh, I'm not doing very good in my search keywords here. Okay, I remember it was, so this was an article that it was like me and two other librarians in the US. But it was, the main writer was Jaw. Chatbot, maybe that will find it. There we go, Joffrey A. Fowler. Scroll back, scroll back. I don't remember the exact name, so that's why I'm like, oh, ads. By the way, we do have this for free with your library card. Oh, here we go. All right, see this article here? We tested which AI gave the best answers without making up stuff. Ah, it's gonna make me, okay. Well, that is the name of the article. I think you saw it there for a second. I have some other notes from this. So let me give you the setup for this one. We were using a website called like vals.ai, and it's basically it's a site that where you can rate the responses of different LLM models. Kind of like a 1 to 5 star thing. Add some comments in there, and I did this for, let's see, I think we had like 20 questions, evaluating like 6 different chatbots on their responses with 20 very different questions. Gave me some insights into the gaps in the setup of these things that I think a lot of people are not aware of. So the key takeaway for me, actually the biggest realization, which I was sort of shocked at the time, was that I didn't realize at that moment, this was back in like, what was it? I think we did this in like September. It was right around the launch of GPT-5. To be quite honest, I did not realize that there was a Google overview, like the chat summary, sorry, the search summary that you get in a Google search, very different than what you get from the AI mode search. And actually, in the last couple of weeks, like Google has kind of been like suggesting you move over to that mode more, the AI search mode. But very different answers depending on which chatbot they were using, and just kind of a reminder that you can't assume that whichever chatbot you're using has the same capabilities as like a ChatGPT or another one, similar sort of setup. Let's see, let me pull up maybe I can, I'll grab my notes here, because there were a few things in this article that we did not talk about. So, okay, I'm gonna move my screen here. And over in my email. Okay, so I'm just gonna read from the email that I sent Joff, so I'll paraphrase a little bit. But one of the questions, the follow-up questions, was what are the weak points or the deadly sins of AI research that people need to know about? And for that one, I said, for a researcher using AI tools, the process really highlights the need of having at least some knowledge of the topic if you're the topic you're exploring to make the most of their capabilities. What I meant by that was like, you are, I mean, let's all be honest here, you're more likely to fall for a hallucination or some other like misdirection in the chat response if you were working from absolutely zero like reference points. I called this I've been calling this you have a 2-book minimum that you need to have before you go into any like sort of new subject around this. I still think that's true, but you know, one of the things that also was kind of highlighted in this whole like evaluation process was that not all of the responses that we got had citations. And then in a few cases I can remember, in a few cases, there were like some really tricky questions that they asked that even searching, like even going to the first 2 Google search results or any search engine results, it still would not have got the correct answer. So, you know, in certain situations, like, is this restaurant down the street still open, or like what happened there? You are still relying on the business updating their website. You're still relying on them updating information on Google Maps. All of those things can be out of sync. So for like real-time information like that, maybe your chatbot's okay, maybe it's not. The other thing was, let's see, we had some questions that were about like photo identification. So like, in this famous photo of the president meeting this person, what color was their tie? And of course, some of the chatbots are not going to be able to answer that correctly because they don't actually have any vision capabilities at all. The ones that did, they were, from what I recall, this was months ago, of course, they did at least get close to it, but it wasn't universally like very clearly like this was a pink tie that they had on, or like this was a red tie that they had on. Things that you sort of take for granted, like very clear to see that was the answer. Your chatbot might not be able to, you know, do that correctly. So really, like having, I think this is why a lot of people are sort of sticking with one product instead of like jumping around to different ones. I of course test everything because I kind of have to be familiar with what they're doing. But that was like a really like, it's sort of a shocker in many ways. It's like, it could get really close to the answer and sound very confident. And I think a lot of it also just came down to like how did they answer the question? If we could do this whole experiment over again, I would have maybe had a little more leeway to say like, oh, this prompt would have worked if they just changed this one part about it. Like this, I feel like this doesn't happen enough. Like not many people are actually kind of going back to see like where, you know, they ask a question, the chatbot gets it wrong, and then they're like, oh, this doesn't know, this is not good, or as good as a search engine. But maybe it was just like, yeah, one word or like one punctuation mark can change the entire thing. So you kind of have to be really specific and also really concise to get the thing they were looking for. Very similar to searching the library catalog in many ways, but that's a different workshop, not today. Okay, the next thing I wrote was about, or the question was, what are some pro tips for getting better answers and avoiding bad answers? I said, always keep in mind the quality of your chatbot output will be based on the quality of your question. Now, this is kind of what I was just saying. In the library world, we call this a reference interview. And it's all about drilling down to what exactly someone wants to ask, but maybe not as fully formulated that question in their head. 9 times out of 10, what they're looking for is like 2 or 3 layers deeper than the first question that they ask. So I actually think this is what, and I've written about this other places, like I think in the last year, but like, there's a reason why librarians are good at using these things, and it's because we have so many questions and answers with, you know, the general public that very often, like I just said, like, we are used to digging deeper than the original question because usually people come to us with a very broad question. And of course, we have all of these books and databases at our fingertips. we need to narrow it down a little more. That's not always obvious, even to the person like asking the question, like, oh yeah, like what I really mean is this. If you can do that with your chatbot before you click enter or send, you will have much better results. A lot of that is just like people, I think, okay, you can't treat this thing like a person. I know it's imitating human language, but you have to remember that it does not know you. It does not see you. It does not sense that you are stressed and that maybe you just want the quickest answer possible. It does not get that sort of like the context that we have. You know, we're multimedia beings. We have lots of information flowing to us. Sight, sound, tone of voice, like all those things work into how would a professional librarian answer a question. And so far, I mean, at least for like text ones, I think there's a little bit more there with like the voice assistants, at least nowadays. If you haven't tried that out, I would definitely like suggest if you use these products when they first launch and you think that's it, like definitely go back every once in a while and see if it can, like for me personally, I have my own sort of standard questions that I'll ask to see what has changed from the last version. But that's it's just interesting because really the effectiveness is all about it. I don't want to say like a garbage in, garbage out thing because I think that's kind of rude. But a better way to phrase this is like ask intelligent questions, get intelligent answers back. So yeah, just consider that as you're using these tools. And actually, okay, there's one other one here that we'll talk about, and then let's check our time here. We're still doing good. Okay, what do librarians know about using these tools that we should all do too? Like checking citations or other, I mean, the things I just mentioned about like understanding the limits of what it's capable of. Okay, I said I think librarians are a lot more in tune with the idea of there being knowledge cutoffs. These are things inherent in LLMs and the public, but also parallel to the publishing world. So, I mean, a perfect example is like if you are searching an archive database for topics, you know very well that there's we only collect books up to, say, I don't know, 1855. Knowledge cutoffs are going to influence the search results that you get from that, right? But it's not as easy to think about that when you're using a web tool. You think that it can search or knows of everything on the web. Just that idea that like the thing that I tested a moment ago, like, okay, I know this is on our website. It's very current info. It's only in our event calendar at this moment. That does not mean that Google search, Googlebot, any other search engine has necessarily like seen that and incorporated that into its database. It's not, you can't assume that it's already been indexed. Most of the time it is, but that's sort of the, even with like the city chatbot over here, like if there was something published a minute ago, will it see it? We don't actually, I don't know, maybe we can ask it and see what it says, but yeah, the other thing too is that when you're talking to these things, when you're chatting with them, sometimes they are aware of like, what version they are, what year it is. Sometimes they're not. I'm assuming that this one, because it's a newer product we just had, probably using the latest model from like, we'll assume like a OpenAI or Anthropic or one of the other. Maybe it's an open source model. But well, let's just see what it says. What LLM model are you? It's probably hard to see on the site here. Okay, it doesn't actually tell us. I'm not based on a specific L model like ChatGPT, but I'm here to help. Well, I bet we could go to the CityBot page and find out more. Maybe we should do that. Oh, I have, okay, that's kind of interesting. Here's a list of the different chatbots that we tested out in that article I mentioned a minute ago. So number one on the list was Google AI mode. Number two, GPT-5, which was the latest one at the time. Then it was Perplexity. Then it was Bing Copilot. Then it was GPT-4. And right below that was Google AI's overview mode, that sort of the one that's baked into search results. Has classically had some sort of funny results come out of that. Then we had Claude, Grok, and Meta AI. So I think, one of the major differences was like, it was very clear to me doing these evaluations when a chatbot was only reading from the description in a search results page, not actually going into the article or the website that it was mentioning. Because those excerpts are not, sometimes those are actually AI generated too. So it's really like, it's not the full information there at all. Let's see, did they have any other things in here that I'm reading from the email chain here that, yeah, this was back in, I was wrong, it was actually back in like late August, which feels like ages ago because we're, this stuff moves so fast, it's kind of, oh, I can hear myself on the TV. Okay, let's turn that off. Let's see. Let's keep testing out this chatbot and see what else it can do. Get me out of here. Okay. Okay. Here's another classic question. When is the next story time? I'll help it out and say at the library. Well, this is interesting too because it's saying I'm not sure about the exact date. However, you can check the events page, blah, blah, blah. It links over to our events. Now, this is surprising to me because I know we have... Oh, wait, did it... Okay, I see what's going on here. So, it heard events and I went to the city events calendar. However, I know that we have a page on our website called Story Times with a gigantic card image that says Story Times at the library along with the next one. So we're not quite, it seems like it is not always searching outside of the site unless, another thing too, because I've been rambling on for many chats here, is it might just be tired. So this, I don't mean that literally. I mean like as your conversations go on with these chatbots, it's running out of something called the context window. So it's like a measurement of the number of tokens involved. Let me back up a second. So a token in its most basic sense is like a unit of understanding or meaning. So a token is not necessarily representing like an entire word. More like it's like a fragment of the word, or it could be a fragment of the word before it and next to it. This whole process can be different depending on which model you're using, but that's the long way of saying that often what happens is people will go like, if you get to a point in your chat conversation where you're starting to get nonsense back, you might just have run out of like the chatbot's run out of steam. You need to start a new chat. And let's see if that does a different response. And let's make sure we're using the same question here. So I'll copy paste it. And let's, okay, so I just reloaded the page. Oh, but this still has that. When I reloaded, it was still with that previous chat. Okay, so we've opened up a brand new fresh chat window. My chat history is not in there. It's doing its introduction here about, maybe you can hear this.
Hola. And I'm City Assist, the city's virtual assistant.
Fitter, happier, more productive. Anyway, that's a Radiohead reference, by the way. Let's see what it does. When is the next story time at the library was the question. Will it give us different results? It does not. How about this? Does the library have an event calendar? I think. Okay. Yes, it has an event calendar. You can explore it over here, but this is still linking over to our city calendar, which does not have things by department. All right, how are we going to get around this problem? I think maybe if we go over to the library page, well, we do have a button that says Find Library Events. Oh, here's a good test too. Does it care which page you are on when you ask the question? Because maybe it's going to go to this page first. So I'm asking the same question on a different sort of home screen or department level page, and let's see if it. No. How can I find library events? Will it be able to recognize there's a button right there that says Find Library Event? All right, it does not do that either. So we have learned today that this will search our FAQs. It will not search our events page. And I think the reason why is probably because this chatbot is pointed at libraryofcitypaloalto.org. And our events live over here at paloalto.bibliocommons.com. So maybe that's where we start. Let's try a few other things to. Okay, another classic library question. How I want to donate some books to the library. Let's see what it says for that. Now this one it should get right because it's searching our. Great. Okay. See that? It actually this is correct. Well, this is really good news. So it pointed to this page. Donations for the collection. This is within our library policies page. It's one of our frequently used ones over here. And this is basically, I mean, this is basically what you would hope people would find. Let's compare this to, okay, the test we did earlier. If I tried this same question over here in the search box, it probably isn't going to find anything because this is not part of our .gov website. This is over in the library one, Bibliocommons. Okay, so it correctly, it did not find this, but it is interesting that our chatbot over here did point people over to, where did it go? Let's try another one another question that we sort of common. Oh, I'm curious if you got this one right. I am a student. Oh, or I'll just say, can students get a library card? The answer is yes, you can. But I want to know if the chatbot knows this. Cool. You got it right. Yes, students can get a library card in Palo Alto. Residents of California, including students who live on campus, are eligible for a free library card. To apply, you just need to provide a photo ID, proof of your California address. So again, this is getting information from that Get a Library page. Maybe I can. I don't have my ID with me. Can I still get a library card? A little more nuance to this question. Let's see what it says. I notice it's thinking harder about this one, so that's well, this is pretty much the same information that we had before. Notice how it didn't actually answer my question directly. It found something on our website and then kind of brought that back in. So this is very different than some other chatbots that you might use, where it is doing a little bit of kind of like resynthesis of what it found, and then it's giving you, you know, like a short essay sort of thing. What else could we... Maybe I'll do some questions about other departments that we normally hear. We need some city government deep cuts. How are we gonna think of those? I wonder if it knows about the 311 app. That's one that, I mean, a lot of times we get questions at the front desk where it's like, hey, there's something wrong in the parking lot over there, like down the street. There's the stop sign is this, you know, discombobulated or whatever. Not within the library building, so we don't really, it's not part of our jurisdiction, shall we say, but there is an app where you can report problems. You can find, you know, you can send a ticket to get the street light fixed or the pothole filled. All that sort of stuff is so totally separate ecosystem there. So let's see if it knows about, I want to report a stoplight that is out. Okay. Report an issue. So this does take you to that. That's good. Is there anything else I can help you with? Hmm. I mean, this is so far. It's only really had a problem with like event info, and I know how to fix that. It can't search our catalog. Let's give that a try. Do you have an ebook version of Dune? Which I know we do have. I can get it through Libby. But yeah, well, it's including Okay, it pointed to our ebook website. However, well, no, it got everything there. So it's basically saying, yeah, I can't tell you, but you can go here to search for them. Well, good news. This is not replacing our reference line. So in case you didn't know, we do have, if you have a question that is a little more involved than just searching for a book, you can contact the library. We have scroll down the bottom of the page, contact us. You can either pick from this list over here or just click send a message, but I want research. My question is about research or finding a new book. You click that thing, contact us, write your comment in here, click send. Oh, this is nice too. We just added that phone numbers button. All right. Let's see. You know what would be interesting? Let's try that same search. Let's try that same one with Google. Does my library have an ebook for Dune? Kind of phrased that strangely. Oh, I'm in Bing right now. I should use this exact same search result here. And let's try it on Google. Well, I see what I did. Okay, so I asked the question, do you have an ebook version of Dune? I should have said, does the library have an ebook? All right, in case you can't read the screen here, Bing came back and said, yes, libraries often have ebook versions of Dune. But it doesn't really say what to do next, and it doesn't really... Oddly enough, this takes us to a BiblioCommons page, but it's for a different... This is just like a book list. Let's try that again on Google. Well, in the case of Google, it actually went directly to Libby. That's an ebook search site or database. And so this would get you there because a person would... Oh, hey, I learned something new today. So every time I visit Libby.com, I'm already logged in. But did you know that if you just get the Google search result for this, it will say at libraries near you. And of course it doesn't know that we are in, I mean, the first one it lists is San Jose Public Library. And then it's got this Northern California Digital Library, but there's a bunch of libraries within that library catalog. And then it's got 9 copies at Santa Clara County Library. That's also another group catalog thing. So in total, how many do we have here? 9 plus 12, 21, 20, 24 copies. It's based on the IP address. Okay. Well, okay, in the Bing version, this is a kind of curious how this ended up happening. The first search result is from this Fulton County Library System, and this book list they made. And then the second search result is actually from Overdrive, which if you're a library fan, you'll know that very recently, within like the last 2 years, Overdrive changed their name to Libby. Actually, it was longer than that. There was a brief moment in time when there was both Overdrive and Libby with the same database, separate apps. But now, yeah, I'm kind of surprised. It's taking... So from Bing, it actually takes you to Overdrive, and then what happens when I click on one of these? I'm curious because I don't think you can still... Oh. I was going to say, I don't think you can actually borrow from the Libby website, or sorry, the Overdrive website anymore, but it basically points you to download the app. It still does the libraries near you search. And then it says find in Libby. So, okay, Bing, kind of decent answer here. Slightly different, but not... Well, I mean, you would get there eventually. It's just the Google search result was a lot more direct, and it kind of knew that we were talking about, like, yeah, let's just look at that one more time. I mean, it's just ranking the libbyapp.com over everything else. Huh. What else do we have here? Oh, interestingly, archive.org also has a copy. Huh. Which version is this? Look for, oh, it has the 1965 digitized version over here. Is this like a first edition one? When was the first edition of Dune published? Yeah. Okay. Well, it's not. We got a Wikipedia result with that one, so that's less exciting. All right, I'm going to close a bunch of tabs here because I've acquired too many tabs. Check over here, nothing in there. Did you know that you can actually read responses on the survey? I mean, it's not, this is not secret knowledge here. It's just a link on the bottom of the survey page, but sometimes it's fun to see what people are thinking about the library. I wonder if anyone mentions AI. If I search, okay, does not. How about, you know what the problem is? I think with some of these like open text ones, it's not. It's not going to find it. Oh, we'll find it if it's inside there. I'm just searching within the page itself to see if there's anything. Vintage. Well, maybe not. I don't know if it actually loads those until. Well, enough of that. I think I'm gonna take a quick break. We'll stick around till 3, but anyone watching online, if you want to ask questions in chat, I can come back to them. But in the meantime, we are going to take that off screen and just wait and see if we get any questions. And I keep looking down to make sure that this thing is still powered. Let's see here. All right. Let's make a known shell here. All right. I am going to mute myself real quickly and let's see if we get any questions. Should get some.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Oh, I apologize. We have another live mic over here. That's funny. All right, folks. I think we're gonna wrap things up early today. I want to thank you for watching the stream. Am I on camera yet? There I am. Hey, I'll see you next week. Take care.